Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel with the first episode of 2026 of Myth, History and Architecture behind Tomb Raider. I'm Alessandro, the guy behind Tomb Raider Ambient Reimagined, and today I will bring you in a really mystic and cool location, probably one of the most iconic of the second chapter, the Tibet. Tibet, an endless expanse of voice and silence where the wind seems to hold stories as ancient as the mountains themselves. When Lara Croft lands on these peaks, she's not simply chasing the dagger Oxian, she's entering a world suspended between earth and spirit, between reality and legend. Tibet is one of the most isolated regions on the planet. It is the roof of the world, a plateau surrounded by peaks of over 7,000 meters, where spirituality and landscape are inseparable. For centuries, monasteries and villages have been built directly on the mountains, often carved into the rocks. Their architecture is recognizable: solid lines, white wall, red windows, player flags carrying mantras in the wind. It is from this imaginary that Tomb Raider 2 draws inspiration, transforming a real environment into a place of mystery and adventure. Lara arrives in Tibet following the trail of the Talion, an artifact invented by the game, but reminiscent of the ritual objects kept in Himalayan monasteries. The developer imagined an isolated monastic complex built in a remote valley where ice meets sacred, a place suspended in time, almost unreachable. The Barkhang Monastery structure recalled typical Tibetan architecture: large central halls, symbolic colors like red and gold, narrow passages that suddenly open into a frozen courtyard, but also creative reinterpretation like labyrinthine corridor, defense tower, traps and hidden mechanism. A combination that amplifies the aura of isolation and mysticism. Tibetan Buddhism is deeply rooted in the material dimension. Every object becomes a spiritual vehicle. Core design incorporated some real-world symbols: player wheels associated with mechanism or secret passages, red and yellow decoration, the color of Tibetan monasticism, carved arches reminiscent of temples like Potala or Jokang. The player wheels deserve a special moment. In reality, spinning them is equivalent to reciting a mantra, releasing blessing into the world. In the game, spinning them becomes a gesture that connects the players to Tibetan spirituality, truth in playing itself. One of the most fascinating choices in Tibetan levels is the use of ice as an integral part of the environment. Caves, passages and rooms seem carved into the mountains. This environment evokes both of the natural beauty of Tibet and the tradition of underground passages found in remote monasteries, often used to hide relics during time of invasion or conflict. The result is a constant sense of being in a place ancient, protected, a space that refuses to be found. Among the most memorable settings in the game are the Catacombs of Talion, a vast labyrinthine area almost impossible to place in real geography, and that's precisely what makes it fascinating. The name Talion is not a Tibetan word, it's a fabrication, but the concept recalls the underground vaults of many ancient monasteries where manuscripts, reliquaries, rare or dangerous objects were hidden. The Khatan thus become a sacred sanctuary built to protect an ancient power. Their atmosphere, suspended, ritualistic and cold, represent the more occult side of Tibet, imagined by the game, a place that seemed to exist beyond reality. Of all the myths of the Himalayas, the Yeti is certainly the most famous. Described for centuries as the snowman, he appears in local tradition with many nuances. Sometimes a guardian, sometimes a warning, sometimes a mountain spirit. In Tomb Raider 2, the Yeti become a most brutal, almost animalistic presence, but the choice to place him in the catacomb is extremely interesting. It does not live in the surface, but in a secret and remote place, and if we in a voluntary guardian of ancient secrets. Their strength, their resistance to the cold, and their presence in a forbidden environment reinforce the symbolism. To attain knowledge, Lara must face not only physical obstacles, but also the mystical fears rooted in Tibetan culture. Tomb Raider 2 interpretation of Tibet is a perfect balance between real culture inspiration, narrative imagination, and video game design. It's not a historical Tibet, not a tourist Tibet, it's a mystical Tibet. A place where the natural world meets the supernatural, where every wall tells a story and every snowstorm seems to carry a secret. And Lara isn't just a visitor, she becomes part of the myth, crossing places that locals would have deemed sacred, forbidden, or impossible to reach. In this fusion of mystery, adventure, and spirituality that makes Tibet one of the most beloved settings of the core design era. We can therefore conclude by saying that Tomb Raider 2 has created a believable environment suspended between reality and fantasy. If you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and let me know in the comment which other location would like to explore together in the next video. So, see you in the next adventure!